Hi there. Oh my goodness, she's here. Of course, she's always mildly late. That always happens, but we're okay with it because she comes prepared with pictures and notes, and we understand that it's, you know, a difficult situation. Hi, my name is Chris Fair. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I am going to talk today about a little show. Have you heard about it? It's called 90 Day Fiancé. Talk about it all the time. We're talking about it for years. This is, of course, season 3 of what we're going to get into, the toe, honey, the other way, honey, where these couples are going outside of America to live and facing the consequences. Okay, so my bays, I'm so happy to see people in the room. People are here already talking. That makes me so happy. Thank you so much. I see hello. I made it on time today. That makes one of you, not me. Hello, Mickey. Hi, digital penetration, Venus. I see you all. Yes, yes. Oh, let's get in. Hi, guys. Hi. Oh yeah, forget. Okay, good. So happy to see my bays. Okay, so this is somewhat of a they had a good episode. This was like a transitionary, I guess, episode to we get into the weddings. However, it was, I think, exciting because of, again, the Jenny and Sumit storyline, which we'll get into, but we'll just see. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to get into what I feel, but of course, it's just so crazy because how is this still happening after years and years and years? Okay. Who shall we start with? I think we should start with Victor and Ellie. So, as we know, it's been a difficult road. Victor's whole home. If only they would tell me the name of the island he lives on over and over again, because it's so hard for me to remember. Has been hit by a massive hurricane, and that is devastating, literally and figuratively. And I think that from the outsiders in viewpoint, probably not a good time to like start a whole life with someone. It's just not a good time because there's a lot of things happening that you guys are contending with, and just feels like your energy, Victor, has to be on your new life and creating a world from the rubble. And at a certain point, you have to understand what you're asking the other person to do, which is build everything from the ground up. And this person was already giving you stuff before this devastation thing happened. And I don't know exactly where Victor's mindset is, whether it's just survival mode of I got to get my life together, or how conscious or whatnot he is. But what he has asked of Ellie and what he continues to ask of Ellie is too much of an ask. It's too much of an ask. Because for some, it was already too much of an ask for you to even ask for money before this whole like hurricane thing. For you to be asking her for money at all, any money during your relationship's already an ask. So on top of that, oh, Julian, I was joking. Oh, you guys, I was joking. I know it's Providencia. They talk about it all the time. Ha 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 ha. Because of that, we from the outside is like, yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. Like, I don't even really truly care about Ellie. I don't know Ellie. Again, have I said, I care kind of more about her or me than I do about Ellie. And her calf tattoo, honey, that's a choice I would never make, Ellie's. However, even I don't want Ellie to like do this. I mean, so they get into a very big argument that happens 0 to 60 because basically Ellie's like, what are we going to do for money? Because our plan was to, own a bar. I'd buy the bar. I'd have all the money for the bar. So it'd be really my bar, which I've already had a business, so I know how to do things. Ha ha ha. But we'll build a bar because I'll just give you saying that we will, even though it's all my money. But we'll build a bar in the one situation we know it works, which is tourist bars, because I met you at a tourist bar. So, it works out. And he's like, whatever, except that now after the hurricane, there's not going to be a tourist industry. So she's bringing that up, like, what are we going to do with that? And he gets really upset, like, oh, don't even talk about it. We don't care about money. It's not about money all the time. We'll deal with it. And she's like, oh, well, okay. It's really somewhat easy for you to say that since all the money's mine, been coming from me. You know what I'm saying? All of it, the whole time. So I kind of have to think about how money is going to continue to flow, because at this point in our lives, you have never been the one that has been thinking about it, ever. You don't think about money unless you are just, unless you can admit right now that you are always thinking about money and therefore like manipulating me to be in a relationship with you so you have sugar mama. Unless we're going to talk about it. And is that what we're talking about? Because that's the underlying thing here. If you're not thinking about money, it's because I'm giving it to you. And that's why you don't have to think about it. But I do, because I'm giving it to you. Right? Okay. So he loses his goddamn mind. He's like, you never gave me money. And the money that you did give me, I'm giving you back in the privilege to have this house, the house they are sitting in, which has no roof and been completely torn apart on a hurricane devastated island with no running water, no electricity. Definitely no generator. It's too expensive from the Home Depot. We saw that. Okay. And she's like, that's crazy. And she leaves, honey. And this is a very hard moment. She says, I would just like to leave. Like, I want to magically not be here anymore. And we have been like wanting that for her, the whole time. And that's what Hiromi wants. And that's why we know she's a good friend. And after that moment, she has also this other moment where she's like, was I that desperate, this desperate, to leave and get rid of my whole life to follow some man that didn't really love me, that wanted me for money, is going to like throw it back in my face as I've been here now, building from scraps his whole life. And he's going to like not appreciate it and then say, well, if he really gave me money, I would have a bike, the same bike he asked for the other woman for, that he cheated on me with, that bike. You really want that bike? He really wants that bike. Santa, I don't know, like, he's been a bad boy, but honey, Santa, like, give this man a bike for Christmas. He wants one. He will drop like a hint in the middle of an argument about her already giving him money. Throw in her face, like, well, if you never gave me the money to buy a bike, the bike I've always wanted, mommy. Like, the answer was and is, yes, Ellie, you were. And I'm just being honest with you, and I'm not saying, honey, that you are the only person that has ever been desperate. You're not. I've been desperate, but if we're going to be real with each other, yes. Yes, you were desperate. And that's why you are in the situation you are in now. Because you were so desperate, my love, that you neglected to take care of yourselves, your boundaries, and protect your self-value and self-worth. It's very easy to say, isn't it? For me to just say that. Yes, you are desperate. You gave up everything. You like lost track of yourself or what you bring into a relationship. You absolutely lost yourself, like into like a love affair with someone with obvious neon red flags over and over again before the hurricane. And as she's sitting here being like, was I that desperate? And as she's like, this hurricane devastated Providencia island is a metaphor for our relationship. You're like, girl, yes. It was almost a little bit like your relationship was like a tropical island mirage, a little bit, right? Or like a Westworld style thing where you thought you can go to this island twice a year and have a magical time with this kind of like Rastafarian-esque long-haired, like island man. And that was going to be real life. And that escapism of this love affair without any worries and this like what this man gave you and you somewhat blind to like probably very big red flags even while you were there of how he lives and the differences. I mean, you were blinded to. You were not the only person. And again, like it's no judgment because this is a very human thing, but it's really interesting to watch. Yeah, absolutely. She should have listened to her friend, honey, Hero Me. I love Hero Me. That's what that person's name is. Um, So after this night, basically she's like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And we're like, oh, we'll tell you what's gonna happen, girl. Go back to the other island and just go back home and like, fire up the wood fired oven, honey, and start making pizza. I'll tell you, that's what you do. Oh no, do that. But Ellie unfortunately decides to go on a beach walk with, Victor on the same beach, that's now devastated by the hurricane that they met on, right? And he, after this whole conversation, is like, look, I had a ring. I bought you a ring. But then the hurricane came, honey, and I don't know where that ring is, honey. The hurricane blew it away. No, I never bought myself a bike, which I would really like a bike. But and no, I definitely can't buy like any sort of like tool to fix the house. So like no money. So like I don't know where and what kind of ring this was, but the ring's gone. I promise you there was a ring, wink, wink. But here's a big ass shell. Here's a conch shell. And like, will you marry me with the conch shell? And at this point, we're like, Ellie's not gonna do it. I mean, no, please don't, But we'll see. She's very happy. She's like, yeah, of course. She's like, we'll work on things. I don't know why. I think that, okay, there must be something that also happens to people, right? And in this case, women. So it's just like, it feels like Ellie and Jenny are having like somewhat of a same trajectory in this episode, which is like, and also probably Alina, right? Where people were like, don't do it, run, and like these women are just like, what, run, who, where, what, don't do what, breathe, like you're just like, girl, what? And they're just like going through it and we're just like, please no. But in this situation, it's interesting because I feel like Ellie in this scene is like, I have to fight against being made a fool of. And if this is real, which I want it to be real, I won't be a fool and I can like live in this fantasy of like this Westworld Providencia town Disneyland that I created in my mind, that I can live here with this man, completely ignore like the different culture shock of me being from like first world and this gentleman not, and then have some tourist bar and make money and never have a problem and he's going to not cheat on me. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, like Ellie, like I'll tell you, Ellie, you better start looking at Yamahas and Suzuki's and Harley Davidsons if that's what it is. Have a nice shell, hope it fits. You would grab the ring. The ring light was just stupid. Absolutely. I mean, the ring thing was just like, I mean, that it's hard because we're just like, he's lying again. He's just going to keep lying. I don't understand. He's just going to keep lying to you and you're going to swallow each lie. Is there ranch dressing for you to swallow each lie? I mean, are you like on a food eating show? Is this like Ellie versus food where we just have to watch you just like, I don't know, like continually stuff your face without not an ounce of milk to even swallow any of these lies down? It's very difficult because, yeah, there was a hurricane. So he even, he's always blaming yes, there was a hurricane. So there's the hurricane guilt aspect. But the underlying situation is it is very obvious from the outside in that this man does not care about the best interests of Ellie. And that is an underlying theme of people that take advantage of people or that people that like manipulate. It's always like, it's very obvious that there is never a time in which Victor has her interests in mind or feels some sort of protective way against protection for her. For her. And that's how you know. You can feel it. I think we can see it. And then in relationships in your life where you feel like someone's taking you know, like if you feel like someone has been taking advantage of you or always want to manipulate you or always want you to feel guilty for them or that there is some victim in some way, it's like, how often do you feel like you are being protected by them, that they have put your interests above them? And it never has happened, never happens in their whole life. They'll continually ask you to do that for them. It is selfish and narcissistic and toxic, and you have to run away. So I don't know what to tell us then. Just sit in this moment, feel this with me, like let it be a lesson. We can't, like, I hope Ellie watches this season, honey, and is like, okay, yeah, no, I became a textbook. So we all could learn boundaries and self worth and, what it looks like to be manipulated by a narcissist. And okay, I know it happens to a lot of people. I'm not the only one. I have no shame in that because, all it means is that I am a sensitive, loving, empathetic person that wants love and is able to give love. That's what that means. Yes, that they can sacrifice, that they know how to sacrifice and they know how to put effort into things. And I think that it's also hard. I think I talked about this like concept. It's also hard to take the L, right? Publicly in any kind of way. Like I think of the taking the L aspect and how hard it is for people, in relationship to celebrity apologies. When you read a celebrity apology, and there's different levels of what they are and what their offense was, but you can read celebrity apologies that are just a bunch of words of them trying not to take the L, right? Then there are celebrity apologies where you can tell they'll take the L. They admit they take the L, honey. It was an L, they take it. They are secure enough that life is a series of failures and sometimes successes, but from the failures, if I can't talk, right? I'm so sorry. Failures, you learn, and so whatnot. So deep dive into this concept, but yeah, you took a chance, it didn't work out, cut your loss and let it go. She should go and live her best life, honey. Conch shell free. She doesn't need that shell, honey. Like, listen, right now, I look at this and I'm like, she's a shell of a person. She doesn't need a shell. Honey, go back, let that hair down, and just like go back to making sweet pizza. You know how good pizza is? Oh my God, the carbs and everything. Oh my God. I bet that curly hair, that curly mane used to smell so beautifully like wood fired pizza, like the yeast in the dough. Little garlic, like, oh my God. Do you think there's like basil? Maybe her hands used to smell like basil. Okay, well, sure. So we'll see what happens with them, my loves. No one was happy about it. So let's go to, I don't think people don't care about. Oh, this goes down here. Okay, so let's go to Binny and Ari. So Binny and Ari and Avi are traipsing about Kenya, and this is okay. How involved are you guys on Twitter and stuff like that? Because sometimes I want to comment on things just because we're in this realm together, but I don't know exactly how to, and I don't want to. Okay, so but I will get into that what I'm talking about. But I want to know, A, you guys tell me, like, are you guys reading out the comments on Twitter. The people in the room right now, are you here really for my comments, or do you know a lot what other people are saying for every episode? Okay. So, Ari's mom left, and now she's with Benny in Kenya, and she wants Benny to move to America and start life anew there. And this Kenya kind of limbo was seeing if that could work out. So she wants to have a conversation with Binyam where she like lays out the plan of like, you owe me this. You owe me going to America because I know where you come from, you don't know where I came from, and you made Ethiopia unlivable for me because you sullied our home with your wandering PP and your music career. And people texted me and told me how disrespectful you were being, and now I literally don't want to show my face. Okay, so there were talk on. So okay, so that's what. So she lays out the case for Binyam for that, and basically he quite honestly says yes. He's like, okay, fine, I'll move to America. In this episode, I never brought this up because I never thought about it or I never knew this or whatever, but people on Twitter started taking pictures of screenshots of Ari during this episode, and she seems to have, God bless, some scars on her arm. And the scars, I think, are indicative of a more painful time in her life where she acted out in such a way, like in self-harm ways. So I'm bringing this up in such a way because, I don't know if you noticed it. I didn't. But I noticed it only because on Twitter, people were talking about it. And no one was incredibly disrespectful once I started reading about it, and some people were really respectful. And I was like, well, do I bring it up? And I'm definitely not going to just like show a picture of the scars. You can see them in some of the things, but I wanted to bring it up. A, because maybe you saw them, and B, we could talk about it. Oh my goodness. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for, oh my God, Charlotte, what is that what you look like? So happy I caught alive. I barely even watch 90 Day anymore, but your recap's all I need. Love you and your channel. You are, my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charlotte. First of all, honey, you're Jesus Christ, drop dead gorgeous. Gorgeous, honey. Thank you. Wow, thank you so much. I want to cry. I'm like your grandmother. Why are you so pretty? No, but thank you so much. That's really, really sweet of you. People don't watch the show. It's like I want to like kind of like get in a 90 Day Single life again, and I have a sled at the end that will maybe like be like, are we watching this? But anyway, so I'm only bringing it up because it was like a talk of a Twitter thing, so I didn't know that about her, and it it's kind of reminiscent of, remember when what's her name had revealed that she had Tourette's. Lovely, nice woman. Oh my God, she's married to that nice Israeli guy that met in Israel on her birthright, I think. Or anyway, her. I think there can be a lot of hate in the Twitter world, and everyone's gonna get different hate or whatever. And people are human though, and then like, yeah, it's just not everyone is an Angela, right? Where they're just like a cartoon character. I know, and even Angela is a real person, I guess, though she truly doesn't seem like it, but I guess, right? Lauren. Lauren. So, Ari got a lot, Ari got some face fillers and whatnot, and so I just want to like remind people that people have gone through things. And the reason why I bring it up also is she did, I think, speak on them. She said they were like self-harm things from a different time in our life. And it's interesting how sometimes we have to be faced with physical scars to remember that we all have them and that people are human. So I have never really connected with Ari, and a lot of her decisions she's made are just like, And the truth is, I think that I don't really like Lauren either, and it's not really about, I mean, it's really, I guess, about like their personalities I've never really enjoyed. But at the same time, we all go through things, so anyway, moving on from that in that situation. Oh, and also, of course, like if you ever have any, self-harm tendencies, I would just really recommend talking to someone about it. I actually know someone who is like, and it really could be anyone, and because I feel like we never know, what people are dealing with. I'm going to tell you right now that I know this person in my life who is an incredibly talented, incredibly attractive male, straight male who like had self-harm tendencies, self-cutting tendencies. So I sometimes you can not see people's like self-harm, and you can see their self-harm. Like when someone is a constant comfort eater or binge eater, you can sometimes see that, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes they throw it up, or, like you just never know how people are dealing with pain. And when confronted with scars, either or visible signs, it's just a moment to like be empathetic towards someone. Even as I tell you, I truly don't enjoy their personalities. It doesn't mean any difference. They're still good people, I guess. I don't know them, but I mean, people are people. We have good and bad tendencies. So, let's get into, did I write, what else did I didn't really write anything about them, except that the best part, so let me tell you. So basically what happens is this. So they're like, Benny's like, I'll go to America. And they decided to write this camel, which was the absolute best part. Like, I'll tell you, that baby loved this camel, honey. At one point, Benny gets on holding this baby, and you're like, Benny, don't drop that baby. And that baby couldn't be happier about being like, I mean, death-defying Cirque du Soleil on this camel's hump. I mean, that baby's flapping its wings, honey. That baby loves it. The baby loves being with his dad. That baby's so cute. Abby's. And yeah, seeing Abby with Benny is very, very sweet. Benny's going to go to America. One of the ways, it's like always interesting for them to have, I kind of can't be, I can't kind of abide any more of the 90-day lawyer conversations. I'm just over them, right? It's just like, how many of these lawyer conversations? They always have like so many like, well, the way, and it's always like, almost like the oracle giving someone the path to the ring. It's always going to be different. So those lawyers like, okay, so if you want Benny to get to America, you have to go to Ethiopia, but you have to stay 14 days. And then he goes to the embassy, but you're not allowed to go in the embassy. They won't let you in, but you have to go anyway. And then you stand outside, and then he has an interview. And then when they ask him if you're there, he's like, yes, she's here, but she wasn't allowed to come inside, but she's right outside waiting. And then they can decide then if they want to interview you. But that's the magic way. And of course, Ari's like, I don't want to go back. You made a fool of me. And then like the lawyer's like, well, that's what you absolutely have to do, and stay for 3 weeks. So I just like, like it's always some sort of like crazy. I almost feel like the lawyer's going to give them a map, honey, and there's just going to be like, a mountain they have to bypass, and some troll's going to be under like a bridge, honey. They're going to have to like say the riddle to the troll. It's just, I get that the producers want there to be a series of obstacles, wins and losses and such, but just a trope that we've had to endure for many a time, Okay, so she's like, I don't know if I want to go back to Ethiopia. You made me look bad. So now you don't know what you're gonna do. Let's move on to Alina and Steven. So Alina and Steven, also like, again, Alina, please don't marry Steven, is like what we're at this point with our eyes and our souls and our hearts screaming at the TV the entire time her segments are on, right? It's almost like, I've used this metaphor before, but I swear she gets on the screen and I like Care Bear stare at the screen as if any part of my energy in this moment, months after I'm watching what I'm watching is happening, can somehow change the course of history. So Alina and Steven also have to go find out from like a lawyer or I don't know, a judge or some other person how to get married, right? And it's like, you got to get this paper, you got to get that paper, you got to go talk to this person, and get this order, it's just like, oh God, I hate stays, can't stand it. And so they do, and the guy's like, well, how fast do you want to get married? And they're like, when do you have an opening? They make an appointment. Honey, it's like open table. And they give him like one option. It's Wednesday at 5 p.m. And I'm like, if you want that table, if you want to eat at that restaurant, take it. So they take it, which is like 24 hours. And then Alina has to go like find all the stuff. So then Alina has a conversation with her mom, right? Her mom, who seems to be real with it, like about the fact that she's going to get married super soon. And her mom is just like, so Steven like lied to you about everything, right? Like his religion, his crazy ass religion, and like the fact that he doesn't even abide by the rules of his crazy ass religion, but for some reason you have to, and for some reason he wants me to convert, but he hasn't. And then he like has literally boned all these women, lied to you about that. It's going to always lie to you. It's just like only showed you one thing so far in your relationship, that he lies to you. What are you going to do? And Alina's like, what can I do? And mom's like, not marry him. What do you mean not? What can you do? Not marry him. Come back to Russia is what you can do. I feel like, because I don't have kids, right? Don't have kids. What do I do if I have a child who I raised, who knows wine, because Alina knows wine, and feels mature in some ways? I raised her, like with smart women in my life, like my mom. And Alina seems like she has her head about her. What do I do if you just have a child who then is like, JK, I'm going to get married to this crazy ass person. I mean, bananas ass Steven, and join a crazy ass religion that he doesn't even truly follow. What if you just have to like deal with that? Now, here's the thing. That's what Sumit's mom feels, right? And that's what Corey's parents feel, right? Sumit's mom is like, I don't get it. I raised two sons. One son did exactly what he was supposed to do. And this other son calls me one day after I arrange a great marriage for him with this nice lady to tell me that he is in love with someone, and shows me a picture, and it's Jenny. That feeling is the same feeling that Alina's mom's having, right? Or they're just like, oh God, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? What happened? What did I do? How did this go wrong? Am I getting punished in some way? I thought I was doing things right, but and maybe I just won't ever, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I'm going to read you what you guys said. Robert Davis, let her make her mistakes. It takes some people to hit rock bottom before they realize how wrong they were, honey. Yes, like Ellie. My daughter was involved with an older guy in upper management, different city, who was living in the basement of the wife's home. You're just like, you're just like, yeah, Mickey, you're just like, what's wrong with you? No, don't do, no. On paper, when you say it to me, it's like, yeah, if you are dating someone or you want to marry someone, and when you tell basic facts about them to someone, if you are embarrassed or ashamed, that's a red flag. Ellie having to be like, he did cheat on me with some other woman that called me and told me all about it, and he was living with her, and then the woman told me that he asked her to buy him a bike, and then he told me that never really happened, but we all know that he wants the bike, so how would she know that? Like, that's a red flag. She's gonna have to she told that to Hiromi, and Hiromi was like, Alina had to tell her mom, like, well, Steven told me the whole time that he was Mormon, and Mormons don't have any sort of premarital sex or any sort of like sexual relations. They're like super godly, but he's been putting his penis in like half of Utah. Also, he looks and acts like that all the time, but I'm fine with it, you know? So anyway, I truly hard to watch. It's a hard to watch situation, as one would say. But then she goes wedding dress shopping, and it's that thing where it's like, we got to do this in 24 hours, and like, so she has this woman, and this woman's like helping her, and the woman's really cute. Oh, this is the woman. She's like, you have to get married in 24 hours, and the girl's like, yeah, it's insane, and we're like, you should see who she's marrying. Yeah, no, you don't know the bottom of it, buddy. I mean. You think you like look like you're crying now, honey. Wait. So then she tries on dresses, honey. She tries on a pretty white one, but doesn't fit her. She decides to pick this Turkish one. But the lady in the Turkish shop's like, cool, cool, cool. You can wear this, I guess. Do you want the headdress? And she's like, no. And the woman's like, that's weird. And the woman's like, just so you know, this isn't like a Turkish wedding dress. This is like the rehearsal dinner dress. This is like the dress you wear like to the rehearsal dinner. And Alina's like, I'm still going to wear it. I don't like tradition. I don't like people telling me what to do. I rebuke tradition. Rebuke's the word. Yeah, is this like a situation where she's just being rebellious in some way, or she feels like this is different, so excitingly different in some way? I'll tell you what she really needs to do. Just because she got rid of Steven with the V's social media, like as a way to not have him cheat on her, she needs to get that Masha, honey. And when they go to Russia, before they get married, she needs to have, wait, are they getting married in Turkey? Shit. She needs to fly right now, Masha in on a red eye, to Turkey. Now, what does Steven love? Bodies of water for him to throw himself into or douse himself with, snacks, sex. So get Masha, honey, dress her like a mermaid, okay? Dress her like little Ariel, honey. And then what you do is like you cut like you put like cover her in like food, candy necklaces and like gummy drop this, like snacks everywhere, like little kid snacks, like like put some of the handy snack like processed cheese on like a part of her head, and then just like like put like one of the like breadsticks up her nose, and just like lay her down, and then put her in a room with Steven and see if Steven jumps. And if Steven cannot jump on Masha dressed as a mermaid, like in a kiddie pool with a bunch of like snacks floating around, if he can weather that storm, honey, he's your husband. But that's the ultimate test. She looked like Henry VIII. Yeah, I mean, it looks like she's just kind of playing dress up she's just playing dress up in a different country's thing. This felt very like medieval, or like a little bit like Italian, kind of like Venetian to me. But Turkey is, a beautiful country. And because of its like trade proximity and location, has a melting pot of so many cultures. So, oh, Robert, thank you, Robert. Oh my God, I love it. It's so nice to see you, by the way. It's been a minute. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, you guys. Do not forget. Okay, what are you saying, Amsterdam? Do not forget Russian women from the Ukraine. I knew a few through them marrying people I know. It might sound weird, but they are so different from women from US. Okay, so you saying this to me? Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you're saying this to me, and Western Europe. Okay, I know why you're saying this to me, which is good. I don't know. Yeah, like it's so funny. I don't know a lot of Eastern European women. Except for my one friend I just made like about 2 weeks ago and went out, and she's lovely. But I'm excited, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to hang out with her more, just because, yeah, I don't know a lot about Eastern European women because I haven't ever traveled there, and I'm not friends personally with Yara, even though you might think so. Kidding. But yeah, culturally I know there are cultural differences. It's very interesting, and I would like to like be able to understand and isolate them more. Anyway, going back, thank you so much, Robert. You're the best. Amsterdam. At first sight, you think we are all the same, but they for sure have different priorities. Woo! I love different priorities. Okay, so We're gonna get into Corey and Evelyn, and then we'll stop with Jenny and Sumit. I guess I should like also talk about Armando and Kenny. I don't really have a lot to say about Armando and Kenny, because it's boring. But basically, Armando and Kenny have a conversation that is a recap of the conversation that that Kenny had with his kids over the fact that Armando wants to expand their family and use Kenny's sperm, and Kenny's kids are like not about it. So funny. Kenny's like voice can be so deadpan, so dry. He's like, I talked to my kids. They weren't about it. Like it's just his natural cadence. It's like the most dry. So funny. And Armando is kind of like, I get it. I get that they brought me. Listen, it's not their fault, but they probably 100% think that I stole you away from them. And the answer is yeah. Yeah, Armando. I bet those kids are like, why aren't you guys living in America? Just because it's like, there's a bunch of us. No offense, Armando. There's like you and your family. Your family doesn't love you. I mean, they love you. I'm sorry. That's rude. Your family does love you, Armando. They definitely love you. But at the same time, that doesn't make it easy for you guys to live there by any means. And you have like one daughter. Here we have like all of Kenny's family, and Kenny has, a whole successful life and, more money here. And so at the same time, like also more support, also same time, a lot of family that like wants to see him all the time. And like, he's getting older and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's one thing. There's a way to blend a family, and they are coming against some of the difficulties in not only cultural situations, but also, and of course, not only the fact that they have to contend with different problems because they're of course a beautiful homosexual couple, and we'll talk about that part later, some of Armando's insecurities about the wedding, but at the same time their age situation makes it thusly. I think that we're all kind of like, just move to America. Just move to America. It seems like a good sacrifice. Like if Kenny's whole family wants him closer and they're afraid of losing him, but he wants to have more kids, then just move closer to his family and then have more kids. And then just that way they don't feel like you're losing him. He's just having more families. Okay, that's what I think that should be there. And I feel like I solved their problems. But another one of their problems, which I hinted at earlier, is that, and this is a really interesting, poignant conversation. So Armando, right, the whole thing has been like his family isn't like yay about him being gay, which is sad because they should be about yay about the beautiful person that he is, and being gay isn't inherently bad or negative. So why? But culturally there are some differences, and we're trying to like, bridge that gap, but it's a slow process. So Armando's dad has been like, is he going to come, to the wedding? And he's there, to come to the wedding. And it's the day of the wedding. And Armando is like, I don't know how to kiss you. And I don't know how to dance with you. And one part of that is because I'm so afraid of how things will look for my family. I don't want to make them uncomfortable. One part of that is also, I've really like not danced with a man in that way. I just haven't done it. And I don't know the times in which he's publicly shown affection or kissed Kenny, but I'm assuming it's been, at least in Mexico, like not all the time and not super intense. My heart feels for Armando in that, yeah, how do you dance with a man if your whole life you've only seen men and women dancing? And also, what does that say about you, and like is it that he has to take some sort of role and position? Does it have to be one way, or is it percussive, or I mean, it's just, it would be, I'm sure, a difficult thing to sort of like remedy in your mind of what feels comfortable for you and what feels authentic for you if you have never really tried and experienced it. They talk about how they're going to kiss. Now, of course, my last live, I deep dived how I think they should kiss, right? And it was weird and awkward. Why did I kiss my hand that many times? I watched it over again. I wish I hadn't. But, you really can look at hindsight in 2020. Kenny's like, we're going to kiss any way we want to kiss. And he's like, well, I don't want to be disrespectful of my dad. And he's like, oh, it's going to be disrespectful of us if he thinks that we should change the way we're going to be on our wedding day. And Kenny is right. It's Armando's mindset is not the way one conducively lives healthily in their own power and way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, your power lies in your truth, and your truth lies in your ability, if you want to share who you are and share what makes what makes you strong and weak, your vulnerabilities, who you are authentically with the world. It's a very hard thing to do. And so you just want in that moment for Kenny and Armando to be able to share their love in the way that speaks true to them without any sort of ramifications of how it's going to be perceived. Knowing that these two guys, like we've seen them, they're not like, bleh, they're not like those, just that's not the vibe that they've given off. They're like dads and granddads. Cooper's there. Like Kenny's not going to try and like, shove a tongue down someone's mouth in front of Cooper. Cooper wouldn't understand what's happening. Oh, Lupe. Okay, I'm glad you're coming in with this comment. Kenny will never understand how important Catholicism, Christianity is in Mexico and other South American countries. My dad kicked me out when I came out as bi too, same as Armando's dad. Oh, Lupe. Yeah. That is a part of it I forget is the stronghold organized religion has on some cultures and communities in such a way that sexuality in that way is looked down upon, because the Catholic Church somewhat weaponized sexuality against the human race in order to like control us. But anyway, okay, that's cool. Having said that, I was born and raised Catholic, so I truly know what I'm talking about. Because I have studied Catholicism the entirety of my life until I graduated college. So, yes, that is a huge part of it. And in that way, I have empathy for the actual people involved, and that would be like Armando's family, like Armando's dad. I think that this person is trying the best he can, and he loves his son. It's hard if you've spent your entire life in a religion that is going to tell you how wrong your son is, or how your son's going to hell, or whatnot. A lot of Catholics, a lot of Christians, I think, come to a space where they have to pick what is a real livable life and what perhaps are rules and regulations that are man-made, that are, that are just man-made dogma. I mean, but dogma that is like spoken by man and doesn't feel authentic within themselves. But that's just them. So, look how cute Hannah's gonna look. I'm into that. My dad just came home. Hopefully he'll make too much noise. I gotta start getting into our last couple here. And our last couple, honey, is Jenny and Sumit. So as we know, Sumit came clean to his friend where basically it was like, look, yeah, I don't want to marry. I don't want to get married. I'm scared as hell. I don't want to ever get married again. I never wanted to get married. I'm not into marriage. I'm really scared. So what would happen is Jenny and I went to this lawyer, right, who told us all the magic map of how we have to like cross the bridge and pay the toll and to the troll and find the ring, but like, all the things we got to do to get married. And one of the things is we better wait 30 days. So we might as well apply for it now, 30 days and, whatever. So Jenny and him are in the room when they're like, great, we'll start it now. Yeah, 30 days. And of course, Sumit later on, like sneakily calls the guy, like without Jenny being like, can you hold that application? And then now he has to tell Jenny, right? So Jenny and him have this garden tea, real English style. Jenny sitting there with very intense makeup on, honey, and Sumit swallows, and tells her that he put a hold on the application without Jenny knowing. And that, of course, is when Jenny's like, okay, so you don't want to marry me. Yeah, that's like you saying you don't want to marry me. Like, you absolutely don't want to marry me. Like, after all this, like, after all the everything, like, at every roadblock and getting past all of it, now it's just like we literally could do it. We just like literally had someone after your parents were like, well, we won't stand your way. And this man just like, okay, do this one thing. And now you're going to put a road. Now you're going to say no. I'm sorry. Now you're going to pull the plug. You don't want to get married to me. I know that now. And then, honey, Sumit starts doggy paddling. I mean, grasping for straws. I mean, he's just like, I mean, he is drowning. He's just like, well, I don't like it when people try and control me. And I hate the fact that she's using this I'm going to go back to America thing to like control me. And, I'm going to use this now as a way of that I see why I don't like marriage because I get control. Women change and blah, blah, blue, blah, blah, blue, blah, blah, blue. As if we haven't watched this floundering Peter Pan, never stand up to anyone his whole life for 7, 8 years, like ruined his family's name. And I just like can't even deal. Like, it's really hard to watch. I mean, I wonder if Jenny knew what was happening. That's why she put so much black makeup on. She put so much eyeliner on for this episode. And also, he's going to his parents' house to go celebrate like the birth of his nephew. That like his parents are still like, that Jenny can't come, honey. We saw how she cleans the kitchen. We're not going to have that dirty Benny in here, honey. Absolutely not. And, Sumit again is like sweating buckets in this conversation. I mean, I know it's hot in India, honey, but look at it. I mean, he knows this is not to be good. It's so funny because his whole thing is like he is mad at Jenny for throwing the fact that if she doesn't marry her, that she's going to go back to America, and how that's controlling him and how he doesn't want to be controlled and how that's what marriage is. But it's like, Sumit, you did everything in your power to get back under the control of your mom. Why? Why don't you want to be under control of an older woman? Seems like you love it there. Seems like the beautiful shade that the wing of an older lady provides is exactly where your little baby bird ass wants to be. Just there so like Jenny can like feed you. We just open your mouth. Jenny would put her half-eaten croque monsieur bites into, I mean, how lovely. I don't know why that came to mind. Into your mouth. You know what a croque monsieur is? Oh my God. Or croque madame. I think the difference is what? One has cheese. Boy, that sounds good. Not like baby birded in my mouth by a Jenny, but yummy nonetheless. So Jenny, honey, reveals that this whole time she's been going back to that Hare Krishna place. She loves that Hare Krishna place, honey. Loves it. So she goes back to the Hare Krishna place and she has this woman, honey. And this woman, just like tells her what's up. She's like, I'm beautiful. No matter of like whatever I've driven on my face, I have a serenity and wisdom and peace about me that I can tell you what's supposed to happen in your life, and not just yours. This woman speaks to a generation of women. Do not jump into a marriage-like bed with some man and expect him to get married to you when he has been enjoying the milk for free. Why would he buy that cow? Why would he? You make it so easy for him. You just stay. You just stay every night. You open your legs, you open your arms. Man crawls in. You live like a married couple. Why would he want to change? Also, Jenny, what part of your relationship with Sumit has ever given you like the understanding that this man's going to marry you or stand up or do anything? What has he literally ever done in the course of your relationship to make you feel like he acts at all? All he's done is catfish you in a telemarketing scheme or whatever he did. But, honey, I get it. I get it. You aren't the first one that's going to do this. It's going to happen again and again. Jenny was that desperate. Ellie was that desperate. And for some reason, no matter what Steven does, here's Alina. And is she talking about the dress when she says, but damn, I like it? Or is she talking about the way that Steven has treated her thusly in their relationship? Because to continue a relationship with someone after they've disrespected you and your boundaries, you are literally co-signing, you are consenting, you are saying, I like it. Now you can say, people make mistakes. It's like, okay, people make mistakes. People go to like therapy, people like admit they're wrong, people go through periods of remorse, and people go through periods of like redemption. But all these women forgive these men not only in a matter of like 5 minutes, but start to like heavily progress the relationships. Helena is playing the long game. Who's Helena? Oh, I'm not like, oh no, you guys are talking about someone that I don't know about. Okay. So my loves, Robert, my mom says to find a man who loves you more, she's smitten with him. That's so funny. So, okay. Okay, so let me go back to my pictures. Sozies, wozies. So, yeah, basically, my loves, we are supposed to like believe that she is going to leave for America or think about leaving for America, or maybe this is the final straw that's going to break the person's back. But in the scenes for the next one, somehow he's like, they're going to get married, or they're back on the road of getting married, or he called the guy and decided to go through with the application. But in that situation, I guess what's coming up, and so we'll be talking about it in the next one, is that they decide to go ahead and get married, and then Sumit doesn't want to tell his parents that it's happening, and Jenny's like also on board with not telling the parents, even though the parents said they weren't going to stop them. And someone tells Jenny or Sumit that that's a bad idea, that they should tell the parents. And they're like, well, should we? Is Sumit like, okay, I'll tell my parents, and then they'll make a big show, they'll try and stop the wedding, and then I can like try and not have this wedding happening for at least another month. I also, it's so funny. It's like, it's interesting. Like, why does Jenny want to get married to Sumit so much? What does she think that's going to happen? So Jenny wants Sumit to marry her just to have like the commitment, because Jenny has been married before and she has kids. She just wants the commitment that Sumit won't leave her. What, for a younger woman? Why? Because Sumit never cheats on people that he's married to? Like the fact that he cheated on his first wife with you? Or that like Sumit being married to you will somehow like make it okay that you're so much older than him? Like he'll be like committed to you for life in some way? She is a romantic. That's why she wants to get married to him? She's a romantic. This person's a romantic? It's interesting because it's like, I think of like, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's for an older woman, we never talk about what Sumit wants. And she seems to assume that he wants the exact life that he has with her, which is never to work. They don't have to ever get up early. He doesn't want kids. He doesn't really need to see his family. His house can be like in mediocre levels of filth because he doesn't bring enough money in to like truly, give her a life in which she can like be proud of a place, all of that. I mean, none of like the traditional situations are going to happen in that situation. So like, what is her end game, and what does she think that he envisions his life is? How come they never talk about kids? Like, is my question. Shay says, I would be so upset if I didn't get invited to the new baby born family event and Sumit drops that bombshell. What the fuck? Self-value, Jenny. I mean, there's none to be have. There's none to have for self-value in this situation. And it's really, really hard. But at the same time, I'm not saying like, oh, Jenny has no self-value and she should be shamed. I don't think that Sumit has any self-value either. What is Sumit also? They both, because for this, like, yes, we can sit here and say these women are like desperate and blah, 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 blue. But then we also have on the flip side, a bunch of men that don't take pride in themselves, right? That aren't people that are active, confident, secure men. Sumit's certainly not. Corey's certainly not. Corey's certainly not. Why does Corey act like a desperate, right? Corey acts like he's very desperate to marry Evelin, honey. His whole family can basically be like, we hate this person. And Corey spent his whole life, or whatever, the past 8 years, traipsing around Ecuador for this person. I'm just saying, it's not just women. The way in which people on the show act out of desperation can be different, but it's like, Sumit is a Corey. Corey's a beta, absolutely. Corey is the betiest of beta. So is Sumit. Like, Sumit's not. I mean, they'd have like a beta off, honey. It's like beta versus beta, honey. I mean, it's like, it's so funny because, well, not so funny. Is this so funny? You tell me. But those beta fighting fish? They call them betas, but they're fighting fish. They're African fighter fish, I think is another word for it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not like a fish expert. But the really pretty ones that have the like gorgeous, fins. And the thing is, like, you can't have two of them in the same jar, right? They'll just like attack each other to death. But they're called betas. They should be called alphas because you could easily put Corey and Sumit in a bowl, honey, and they'd be friends. They would have so much in common. I think Sumit would have to like tune his ear to Corey's like high frequency voice. Like it'd be a moment of Sumit being like, what? How do I hear that? It's so high. It's like being in a room like with Mariah Carey at her prime, honey. It's high, But I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. Siamese fighting fish. I really like those fish. I think they're cool. I used to like have one and I would just like, and the one would die and I would just get another one and I would just continuously name that fish Pisces. So I had a Pisces in my life for like 4 years. Okay, where was I? Corey and Evelin, I guess. So, I mean, truly boring. I don't like this. I hate it. Corey has a conversation with his brother because Corey's planning this wedding, that no one wants to go to, not even Evelyn. She doesn't want him to get married in the Catholic Church because, as we said, like if you're in a South American or Mexican country, like you should get married in the Catholic Church if you want, like your family to like respect and care about your wedding. But she doesn't want them to, so she wants her sister to marry them because she knows her sister and her can basically like cross fingies behind their back and sign a real wedding, even though they're already married anyway. But whatever. Also, God bless. So Evelyn's whole family is going to be there for some reason, including, Raul, who's like her ex and also Corey's friend. Corey has no friends except for Jenny, the whore, I guess. That's what Evelyn calls her. So Corey calls his brother and he has a conversation with his brother where he's like, bro, I'm alone. This wedding's happening. Please come visit me. Now look at Corey's brother. Corey's brother's hot. Corey's brother lays it on the line. Dude, no. First of all, it's a pandemic, so no. Second thing is, none of us respect you. No, we all think you're like literally a cuckold. I mean, we think you're like a beta cuckold. I mean, we're not into you. You are such, well, someone that we don't respect, that we don't care about going to your wedding at all. We don't think it's going to last, and we hate her. She came to live, as you know, in the early seasons with us, and she was a full-on bitch, full-on snatchy bitch who like spent her whole time in the room. And you aren't a man. You didn't facilitate any sort of like conversation between the two. You didn't make it easy for her. You didn't make it easy for us. And then when she was like, the only thing I'll only be with you is if you move back to Ecuador, you did. You put like, you tucked your penis between your legs, went to Ecuador, even though she was cheating on you left and right. And you've been there ever since. We never saw you. We haven't seen you at all. So now you call us and tell us you're going to get married and that we should come. We're cool. Corey's like, but if you were getting married, you told me I should be somewhere, I would do it. And even though you don't respect like our relationship, I feel like you should still be there. And here's the rub. No, they don't. And I'll stand on this hill, honey. People don't have to do what you want them to do because you want them to do it, especially if you've done nothing for them and your situation is shit. I haven't seen you in a bunch of years. You haven't done anything for us. Oh, the person you're marrying was horrible and mean to us? Okay. And we haven't seen you in a bunch of years? Okay. Now we don't respect you because we like don't know who you are. We think you're dumb? Okay. And you expect us to now show up for you? No, we don't co-sign that. No. And it's a pandemic. Absolutely not. I know you said you like her sisters a few lives ago, but I think her sisters are complete bitches. I do too. No, I do too. Can I be honest? I do too. I think that one like, kind of like rounder cheeked one is interesting. I think she's the most interesting person on this whole storyline because I really don't like Evelin. I mean, you know what it is? Okay. Sometimes I say I like someone when I just mean sometimes that they have an entertaining charm about them that I would rather watch over others because I find it at least engaging in some way. There's people that are horrible on the show that have no charm about them, right? Like Lyda, right? Like it's like I'll always say like Lyda, like Evelin. These people are like not exciting, not interesting, and don't have a charm about them. So when they're talking and when they're like telling you their lives or when they're, like playing a victim or when they're like in their confessionals or any part of it, it's just boring. You're just like, you're not a fun villain. You're nothing. You're nothing for me. So, I guess to my mind, it's like, I think that Evelyn's chubby cheeked sister is a funner villain to me. I don't know. They look completely different when they're all made up. Oh, honey, literally everyone in the whole generation does if you're, But this conversation with the brother gets echoed in the conversation with Raul, which is this part. Evelin makes decisions based upon what she wants. So Evelin wants to go to Ecuador, doesn't want to live. So she makes a decision and is like, well, if this is what I want, you do it or not. And Corey did it. Evelin wants to be like, well, I want my sister to marry us. That hasn't, it's not great for you, but that's what I want. So do it or not. And Corey's going to do it or not, but probably. And, this conversation then happens with Raul. So they go to a skating park. I don't know why, honey, like Lil Wayne or whatever. When you like, none of them are really good skaters. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. And drop a skateboard emoji if you know what I mean. Because Lil Wayne has been, honey, pouring millions into his skateboarding life for what feels like 15 years. And I love Lil Wayne, and he can't skateboard at all. Okay, so Raul and Corey had a falling out because we're supposed to believe that Raul, who once dated, Evelin, and who like is Corey's friend, had posted this, his Instagram story, knowing that it would look bad against Corey, that Evelin would watch it and that she'd be mad at Corey for like cheating on her, which is exactly what happened because that's what Raul wanted. It's like dumb, stupid drama of what feels like, is there two people in this town and are you all swingers? Like, who cares? This is where I'm like, yeah, Corey, like, There's no reason for you to be hanging out with Raul if you had like any sort of like self-worth, respect on your name. There's no respect on his name, as one would say, especially to his brother, or his mom. So Raul's like, yeah, like, Evelyn's selfish and you should know that. And Corey's like, I know, but I have no backbone, no spine, and I deserve this in some way or whatnot, and that's what I've chosen. And even though that's what I've chosen, I somehow think my family should choose it for me as well, or should co-sign it or support me in what I've chosen. And they don't have to. There's ways of doing things. You can respect someone and not agree with the things that they've chosen for themselves. You can or you don't respect them and you don't agree with the things they've chosen for themselves. Here's an example. Corey's family has not agreed with the way he's wanted to live his life, and they don't respect him. Armando's family, in their way, I feel they respect him, and probably his dad would say he doesn't agree. I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, so this is my opinion, right? It feels like Armando's dad would say, I don't agree with the way you've chosen to live your life. Now, we can all have personal feelings against that. And as we've said here a lot of, I think what stems behind that is being raised heavily in a culture dominated by an organized religion that precipitates certain rules against sexuality that has been through us for the ages, but however has been there through a patriarchal system used to define good and bad and weaponizing our sexuality against us, like I've said. Where does your opinion lie in all of that? But to me, there's a comparative difference there. And it's not just the fact that Armando's family respects him, therefore will come to a wedding. But you can really see it there that like Corey's family is like, you picked a horrible person for you. You picked a partner you're going to get married to that doesn't like you at all, that doesn't respect you at all. So if she doesn't respect you at all and you literally tucked your penis in your legs and ran off to Ecuador and we haven't seen you in so long, why do we have to like now respect you, support you? We would love you to understand why we won't. We would love you to like feel like you've made a bad decision or understand that maybe you should change the way you make decisions and choices, but that thusly you haven't. And yeah, feel the brunt of it. We don't owe you anything. Okay, my loves, that is all of that episode. Now I was looking at stills and then I ran across this still, which I guess is from 90 Day Fiancé, the new single life. And I want to know if you guys are watching that. Here's Natalie, speaking of Eastern European women. My marriage with Mike was spoiled by him believing in aliens. Is this what is waiting for me if I click the single life part 2? Is this what's happening? I need someone to really, I wish like, who here is watching? I forgot. Okay, Mickey. Mickey, you're watching this? What's happening, Mickey? Is this great? Is it important and great? Because I think what I saw was like Tanya and Sinjin are on it, right? Like Sinjin's on it and Tanya makes an appearance. Look at the people coming out. Mrs. C says no. Magda says, people are going so fast. Yes, watch it, Chris. Robert's watching it. Mickey loves A Single Life. Okay. What are the best storylines so far? Also, yes, in other 90 Day news, people kept asking me what I felt about Juliana and Michael divorcing. So I talked about it last time, which is I'm happy they divorced. But in other 90 Day news, Juliana's pregnant. Oh, I forgot I should have said someone lovely posted it on the wall of my private Facebook group, which, by the way, you should be in because this is how we get our breaking news. Oh, I forgot that. I should make a banner for it. But this is my Instagram and Twitter, Chris L Farah. L is for Lebanese, or you can Venmo me. That's Chris Farah with no L. But I also have a private Facebook group, Fanby Farah. And yeah, Juliana fully posted with her new boo baby pics. I'm sorry, that's not true because the baby is not out yet. Pregnancy pics. Baby bump. Baby bump is what they call it, or like baby announcement pics. So my God, you guys are going off. Okay, I really have to get into this 90-day single life. People are like, Coldy's mom. Yes, you have to watch. It's all very interesting. It's all about Debbie. Debbie does it. You know, I saw another picture of Debbie. I think they might have showed a picture of her in the 70s, and someone was like, she looked like someone that like would follow like Charles Manson. And the truth is, yes. Coldy's mom, Debbie gets laid. Woo! Debbie and her, oh my God, you guys are coming for that, Debbie. Debbie with her Jessica Rabbit makeover. Debbie is highly horny. I'm convinced that Natalie marriage was a business transaction. Right, Magda? Oh my God, now we know where Cold gets it. Oh. Well, Tanya still wants Sinjin, honey. Soulmate. Her soulmate. Her anti-soulmate. That's so funny. You know, I will say this. Going back to like things, okay, I want to, because you know, I'm like, Debbie was a go-go dancer. Okay, fine, I'll watch it. You're making me seem like I should absolutely watch it. I want to talk about something quickly, and I know this is all over the place, but I'm going to go back to the episode we just talked about and bring up this. Did you guys feel like her reaction to finding out that Sumit had put the visa on hold? I'm sorry, I can't talk. That Sumit had put the marriage thing on hold. Did you feel like she had already known about it? Because she was like, what? Why would you do that after we had gone through the things we did? Because, you know, sometimes I think about, which you have to, which is like, what is the setup of the shot? The producer's like, go outside, pour some tea, have a conversation about the fact that you're going to have to tell her cameras are rolling. And is she like, why are we having tea? Is there, tell me on the slide, what are we going to talking about? And, you know, someone tells her. I don't know. You don't trust anything, honey. I'm like conspiracy theorist when it comes to 90 Day Fiancé. His hair is getting too long, Sinjin. Yep, it felt very storyline to me too. Not crying, not angry, not shocked. Yeah. You know, I'm actually really happy I brought it up, even though it was awkward for me to do it like after we talked about the entire episode and got into another, you know, spinoff of 90 Day, and I should have brought it up in that scene. But I forgot to in the moment. But yeah, I was just like, Jenny's, I mean, none of these people are good actors. They're not actors. So like to have Jenny be like, what? Even after all of the roadblocks is a little hard. Okay. Oh, Maureen, hi. So yeah, I will watch 90 Day and I'll get into it. So you guys, happy Thanksgiving week. And you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to be thankful and express my gratitude and my appreciation for you all in my life. For the 80 people in this room that on a Monday are hearing me talk about some dumb show that aired last night and or was dropped on Discovery Plus even before that. You know, people are at work, people have jobs, people have life, people have kids, people have, you know, pizza places that they're running, you know, with basil, garlic, you know, and the Pacific Northwest. And I really hope it's doing well for them. No, I'm truly obviously very happy and just thankful that anyone would show up and lets me talk about anything. And it makes me really happy that I get to just turn on my computer and talk into a void. You know, it makes, because it's not a void then because people are listening and people talk to me back. It's great. I mean, I sometimes think like, what if I had this live stream ability, internet ability when I was like young, because I'm an only child and didn't have like siblings. I really wouldn't, well, A, I wouldn't have felt so alone, and B, I would have definitely done a lot less cybersexing in AOL chat rooms. I would have gotten attention from other people. Hopefully it would have been good attention, though. Actually, can I be 100% honest? And I've said this, I think I'm in the perfect generation where I'm so happy I grew up somehow without social media and the precipice of the internet happening when I'm in high school, so that I am able to look up like information for book reports, but I don't have to deal with people calling me whatever names and things. I would be on dating sites pretending I was an adult. Oh, I mean, I was just queen of really trying to pretend I was older. Yeah. Oh God. I am so happy. What an innocent time that was. I'm scared. Yeah, Mike has major issues and needs therapy. Chantel, are you saying that because Mike on Single Life? I also saw, speaking of Debbie, that the Queen. Oh my God. Oh, Larissa. Larissa moved back to Vegas, and Debbie was like, "We should have lunch." They should have lunch, honey. Oh my God, where should they go? They can go to Wally's Resort at the new Wally's the new Resort World. That'd be great. A lot of great cheeses there. Mm. They can go to Giada at the Cornwell. Mm. Joel Robuchon, Atelier Robuchon, get the mashed potatoes. Mm. So a lot of options. Could you imagine? I don't know if you guys know this, but Wall and I love going to Vegas, and we just went. And we go to this place called Ellis Island where we like karaoke in the grossest room, which is like people karaokeing and just like you can smoke whatever. It's disgusting in there. It's great. I'm like, I want to see like Debbie and Larissa in that room, just drunk out of their minds, singing like Carrie Underwood together. Chuck E. Cheese and have a fight. No, Mike and Uncle Bill are on their dating around Seattle. Oh, great. Well, I mean, listen, if Mike wants to date anyone, he should absolutely date the girl that cuts his hair. So. Oh, it's so funny. I forget about this. No, please, no, we don't want more Confederate flag Mike. I forgot about that. Oh God, give me strength. Okay, so my loves, here we are. I gotta go. I gotta do things with my day. It's almost 3 p.m. I really, obviously, as I said, I'm so very thankful that you have shown up and spent some time with me here. It's Thanksgiving week, which means people are going to be traveling and or not traveling and or seeing people or not seeing people. And some of those people might be friends and or they might be family. And all of that brings up a lot. And I think that what we can do is, of course, keep ourselves right, control ourselves, control what we can of our own happiness in ourselves. So, I invite us to just take care of ourselves so that we have the abilities to differentiate what is not our problem and what we can take on and what we can't take on, as well as not take things personally. Because especially in friend and family situations, there's a tendency to take things personally and or whatnot. I think that through some mantra and through some breathing and through some reminders to be in the present moment, it's a nice way of not letting other people's opinions or values permeate your own boundaries of how you feel and how you do your life. Everyone's free to have different opinions, and you can listen to them or not listen to them. If you express your opinion, don't discount other people's opinions, or don't express your opinion. Either one. It's a hard thing though, we are politically very divided in this nation, and there's lots of different ways in which as families we can be at odds, right? Through the choices that one makes and through our own judgment of those choices. But at the same time, we are all living our lives at the best of our abilities with all of our scars and baggage that we bring in. So you have to kind of remember that other people are doing the same thing. But yeah, it's a high time for pressure-filled situations. So it really does require you to know this, breathe through it, honey, and do our best, represent our best, do our best, I mean, like, what is the secret? The secret is remain in touch with who you feel are at your core, who you want to be, who your highest sense of like your aligned, sense is, like who you truly feel like you want to be and are at your core, at your highest good. And then just try and act from that place. And the importance of showing warmth and love instead of like judgment or grief, and doing your own work so you aren't projecting your pain onto others. That's what it is. All you can do is that. If you do your work, you're not projecting your pain onto others. And if you do work, you can more easily let go of the projections other people put on you. It's easier to like sense it, you know? Oh, I'm thankful for you all. Oh, that makes me happy. Oh, yeah. For all US and Canadians, I guess, have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Not everyone has Thanksgiving happening. See, this is like where, us Americans, we can be truly in our own worlds. Wa's in Canada right now. Honey, she's traipsing all over Montreal. So I know that Thanksgiving doesn't happen there. And also, Thanksgiving is also some like interesting holiday where Americans are like, white people came and gave smallpox to a bunch of Indians, but the Indians were nice enough to like give us food and then we killed them all. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't know. Thanksgiving is not my favorite holiday by far. I'll take literally every other holiday over Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving just means like I can put up Christmas decorations now, and I have. I don't even love Thanksgiving foods. Like stuffing, it's dry. Mashed potatoes are nice if it's good mashed potatoes, which means like almost all milk and butter, half milk and butter. Oh, the Canadians already had yours October 12th, honey. It was early. It's always early. Well, or we're late, depending on how you see it. Okay, my loves, that is it. Thank you so much to everyone for being here. Thank you to all my super chatters. Thank you so much. Really means a lot, and I appreciate that. My mods, thank you for liking this video, for giving it a little thumbs it up. Don't want to sing because I don't want to make Adele jealous. She dropped an album, and so it's just like her week to shine. Yeah, other than that, I really wish you guys the best. I really mean it. And I really love you. My God, Michelle McDaniel, my first live, man, I missed it. Why? First of all, I've never even seen your name before. This happens all the time. Juan and I talk about this. The minute, like, there's never more people in the room the minute that when you're like, I gotta stop this live. I've been talking for an hour and a half. And then someone like lovely like Michelle's like, I don't even remember seeing your name before. So you're just like gonna come in, speak for the first time. Hilarious. Come back. So for following, which will happen Friday, I will be traveling back from Thanksgiving, and I actually don't know. I land around 1, so I don't know exactly when I'll be able to do it. I'd like to be able to say that I can do it probably more around 3, but we'll see. Okay. I will hopefully update you. So Friday around 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when I'm hoping I can do a live for you, but there's also a possibility that I might do a little later. So this is where I call you out. If you want to make your preference known, please do so. If I should do my Friday following, which is going to be Friday 5 days from now, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or if you guys can go a little later, like 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be better for you. I know the airports are crazy. I'm not looking forward to that. My God, I'm like so scared. I'm like getting anxiety about it already. All right, my loves, this is it. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. I'm grateful for you, and thank you for like spending any amount of time with me. I feel your presence, and I like see you. I'm so grateful, truly, that you would be here for me and with me. I don't know how I got to deserve it. It's the opposite of how Alina's mom feels, which is, what did I do to deserve this? Or what did I do to deserve this greatness? Okay. Bye, baby boos.